Hey guys, Joe from Extreme Terrain, and today I'm going to be reviewing and installing the MBRP Black Series single exhaust system with a side exit fitting all 16 and newer 3.5 liter Tacomas. Now this exhaust is going to be perfect for the Tacoma owner who's looking to improve the sound out of their 3.5 liter with one of the coolest looking and most cost effective exhausts we have on our website. As you guys just heard, this kit is mid-range loud and easily gets a 3 out of 5 on our Wake the Neighbor scale. This is just enough to know it's an upgraded exhaust, but nothing that's going to draw unwanted attention to your truck. The mandrel bends are going to ensure that the walls of the tube are smooth throughout the bend. This is going to ensure that the exhaust gases cannot get caught up on any ripples in the tubing and allow them to exit the exhaust as fast as possible. In the middle, this kit features the perforated tube P-Series muffler, which is going to be a huge improvement in sound over stock. Again, we have 3-inch diameter tubing throughout the length of the kit, and it ends in a 4-inch diameter slash cut tip that's also black powder coated and embossed with the MBRP logo. Now, comparing this exhaust to some of MBRP's other offerings, the only difference between this kit and the installer series is going to be that black powder coating. Now, you do pay a little bit extra for that, but it is going to bump up the durability and looks significantly. If you wanted to step it down a bit, the P-Series is going to be your cost-effective option. That's also aluminized steel, but features the same muffler. If you wanted to go up a step, the XD Series is going to feature 409 stainless, and then the top of the range is going to be the Pro, which is your 304 stainless steel. Pricing for this kit is going to come in at around $450, and that is going to be on the more cost-effective side, definitely below average, and that's exactly where I'd expect it to land relative to MBRP's lineup. Install isn't going to be too bad either. We're looking at a 2 out of 3 wrenches on our difficulty meter. Should only take you a couple hours to get this installed on your truck. It's a full bolt-on, there's no welding required. Now, I do give it a 2. Reason being is you might have to cut this depending on your cab and bed length setup. We're working on the short wheelbase. We're gonna show you how that works in just a second. So without any further ado, let me show you how to get this installed on your truck. Tools required for this install are going to be a pry bar, exhaust hanger removal tool, impact, U-joint, 8mm Allen key, 15mm socket, and a 14mm socket. Now, tools that are not required but greatly help are going to be a hammer. We use that to seat a socket on a rusty bolt, PV blaster to loosen things up, and if you have a short wheelbase truck like what we're working on today, you will need to trim an inlet pipe. For that, you will need safety glasses, tape measure, Sharpie, and not pictured in the shot is going to be a saw. All right, guys, so for the first step of our install, we're going to hit everything with a nice, healthy dose of a rust penetrant. I'm gonna use PV Blaster. This is gonna come in great help for this flange right here, and there's 4 rubber hangers down the length of the exhaust. And to be honest, this exhaust hasn't been off of our truck in around 30,000 miles, which is what the truck has on it in total. So this will be a pretty accurate representation of what you can expect after some daily driving when you crawl under your truck. So now we can move back to this flange, and the nut on this side is welded in place. So we're gonna use a 14mm socket on this bolt to slowly back it out. Again, this is pretty rusty, so we're gonna take our time here. So now we're gonna do the same thing for the other side, and again, this is pretty rusty over here as well, obviously, so I'm gonna use the mallet to tap that socket onto the bolt. And again, go slow. This thing will be pretty hot when it pops out as well, so just let it fall to the ground. So now we can move on to these rubber hanger isolators. This one is on the front of the muffler, and this one will actually require complete removal. Reason being is it's backwards compared to the other hanger isolators. So I'm gonna get a pry bar up into this hole here, get some leverage, pop that off. Then the other exhaust hanger should go when we drop that flange and pull the exhaust forward, then we can get it straight out. and then that could actually stay on the upper one. So now our exhaust is just about ready to fall off the truck. What we're gonna do first is pull this flange apart and drop it out of the way so it will clear. Then we're going to use a pry bar to sort of pry on the muffler to release it from those hangers. Then we're gonna drop this out in one big piece. Now, if you are working on the ground, you might have to make a couple of cuts to get this out from underneath the truck. But if you're on jack stands or a lift, it should be extremely easy to pull it out in one big piece. So with our factory exhaust off the truck, I just wanted to take a second to build up our new MBRP kit and point out some of the key improvements it will be making over stock. And as you guys can see, we're dishing this big restricted factory muffler design in exchange for MBRP straight through muffler, perforated tube P-series muffler. We're also increasing the diameter of our piping as well, 3 inches throughout the kit. Now our tailpipe is covered in a black powder coat. That's not just there for the looks, that is to help protect it from the elements as well, and ends in an awesome 4-inch slash cut tip that's also black powder coated and embossed with the MBRP logo. As you guys can see with our inlet pipe, it is a little bit long. This kit out of the box is tuned for the longer wheelbase truck. We're working on the short wheelbase truck today, so we will have to cut that down. We're gonna take 13¼ inches off this side here. So let's grab our safety glasses, tape measure, and a Sharpie. Let's head over to the saw and make our cut. And again, for our short wheelbase truck, that should take about 13¼ inches. So now we're back at the truck, and all we're going to do is now get that inlet pipe seated and use that original hardware to secure it. Now just a note, this pipe does have a bend to it that is going to go upward toward the body. And then we're going to use a 14mm socket to secure that. So now we're going to get this hanger clamp in place around our inlet pipe and start it in that hanger isolator. Then we're going to hang our muffler up in between and get that tightened down. This clamp gets tightened with a 15mm socket. I'm just gonna make that snug for now. That's gonna give us some much needed adjustment. When we near the end of the install and need to get this seated properly, then we're gonna run back through and give this a final tighten. So before we mount up our tailpipe and tip, we're gonna take this hanger isolator off right here and transfer it over to our over axle pipe. Reason being is the hangers go in the opposite direction, so I found it easiest to just take this off, transfer it over, and then hang it while it's on the tailpipe. And we're gonna make sure that goes all the way back because that's gonna make it easier to install these two. So now we're gonna throw our last clamp in place on the back of the muffler, then get our over axle pipe in and seat it on the back of the muffler in the hanger isolators, and then we'll do that rear hanger as well. Now while we're back here, we're going to use an 8mm Allen key to secure our tip, make any adjustments to the pipes to make sure they're seated properly, then run through and tighten down those clamps with a 15mm socket. Just for a little extra clearance, I'm going to turn this up and out of the way. All that's left to do is lower the vehicle and check for any leaks. And that is going to do it for my review and install of the MBRP Black Series single exhaust system with a side exit fitting all 16 and newer 3.5 Tacomas. Thank you for watching. I'm Joe. For more videos like this and all things Tacoma, please subscribe to Extreme Terrain.